going to be about 30 minutes. Try to keep it under 30 minutes. Might go just a touch over. But I really want to give you guys a solid, concrete program to look at that's going to really dive into what it looks like to become a silver. Now, there's some things in here that might be new. They might be a touch, especially for you new folks. It might be things that are a little confusing, some terms that are possibly new to you. The reason I'm recording this is so you guys can go back and replay it as many times as you need to. It'll be available for a certain amount of time. Likely it'll come off the air tonight around midnight. So I encourage you to get a notebook, really sit down with this video because we're going to go through some good meat and potatoes. And if you are looking to create an income with AdvoCare, it is imperative that you learn some of these things. You can make a few dollars by not really knowing what you're doing and just kind of taking a stab at it. But in order to get to a point where you're truly making some good money, it's important to know a few of the things that we're going to go over. But this is a business. If you treat it like a business, you will get paid like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, you'll get paid like a hobby. You know, there's a reason I'm not a professional golfer. I simply do not play and have not enough to become a professional golfer. Now, is it possible that I could, become a professional golfer? Sure. I think I have the talent and the necessary skills that if put into practice, I could become a professional. Would I be as good as, Tiger Woods? I don't know. Probably not, likelihood. But with AdvoCare, it's pretty similar in the fact that, if you practice, if you know what you're looking at, if you're consciously putting forth some effort at least to learn the fundamentals of AdvoCare, you will get to a point where you can make some great extra money. And all likelihood, you could get to a point where you could replace your full-time income if that's something you're really looking to do. So with that, I'm going to go in and kind of just set the stage here. I want to introduce myself and my wife and just tell you a little bit of where we come from so you guys can understand we're just your average Joes. There's a lot of stuff on this slide, but here's the deal. I'm currently a personal trainer and a musician. Those are the two things I love to do. I love being in the gym, and I love playing my guitar. So that's kind of who I am. Now, my wife works at a call center full-time. So we're both working. We're both doing other things. There's a lot on our plates that we're trying to accomplish in life, and AdvoCare fits into that until the point where we can walk away from these jobs completely. We are still active in working a full-time job. We were born and raised in North Carolina. Just to give you an idea of, I wish I had a picture of me 10 years ago, but I was born in backwoods Brown Summit, North Carolina. It's just outside of Greensboro. It's one of those towns you wouldn't know it existed unless you were from there. A very small country town. My life, basically, when I grew up, we didn't have stuff. We didn't have toys. We didn't have those kinds of things. Basically, my brother and I were given pocket knives and taught how to hunt and fish and to build forts, and that's what we did. We ran around in the woods. We burned stuff, blew up stuff, shot stuff, built forts, just did all kinds of crazy stuff out in the woods. And so that was the kind of lifestyle I grew up on. I did not know anything about business. I was not a salesperson. And so if you flash forward, a few years, moved out to a little apartment, and just a typical story. Went through some college years, looked at what I wanted to do with my life. Following that, I joined the military and went out to the military and see what they had to teach. And so we went through this typical life of just what is it that I want to do with my life kind of thing. Sarah grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina. She went to college and got a job working with Military One Source, and we developed a relationship, obviously got married. And when we found AdvoCare, or at least when we decided to look at this as a business, we were full-time, if not more. I was personally, in the military, I got to the point where I was working between 40 and up to 100 hours a week. And I know that's crazy if you do the math on that, but I literally was working 16 to 18 hours a day, sleeping, coming back and doing it again. That was my lifestyle for a long time, and deploying and all that stuff. So we were extremely busy. And when we found AdvoCare, the reason it was so intriguing to us, we're going to cover some of those things, but it was because our mindset had changed. And I'm going to give you an idea of what I mean by that. So for me, my journey into the business world of Avocare began when I read this book. And if you have not read this book, I can quite honestly say this was the first book that I had completely read in years. I like to pick up things and read, but for some reason I just don't have the attention to get through a whole book usually. So I end up reading 5 different books at one time and maybe getting snippets of each. But this is one of the first books that it laid out finances for me, and it helped me understand how to make money work for me rather than constantly chasing a every 2-week paycheck and barely scraping by. And when I read that book, it opened me up to a world that I saw Avocare fitting into as a perfect resource because of this right here. Another book that Robert Kiyosaki wrote. It's called the Cash Flow Quadrant. And give you an idea of what we're looking at here. This is for the United States. This is just a typical, this is where money flows. Imagine money falling from the top here, going straight down. Money flows into 2 categories. On the left, you have employee and self-employed. These are people who, 95% of people are over here. They work at a job, they get a paycheck, they collect that, go home, pay the bills, and they go back to work. Self-employed are people who they might open some sort of small business, but basically they create themselves a job. On the right side of the cash flow quadrant, you have business owners and investors. These are the people who make quite a bit of money. So to give you the numbers and what I actually mean by that, we'll split this straight down the middle. On the left, 95% represents the amount of population that stays on the left side. So 95% of the United States population is on the employee and self-employed side of the house. 5% of the population is on the right. They own the businesses and they invest. And then this was really for me where it kind of made sense. If looking at those numbers, now let's move to money. Now we said before, right, 95% of people are on the left, but here's the crazy thing. 5% of the money is earned by 95% of the people. 95% of the money is earned by 5% of the people who own their own businesses and invest. So when I saw that, for me, it was a rude awakening, realizing I can either spend the rest of my life on this side or add something as a business to what I currently do in order to kind of have both sides. And so there's benefits on both, quote unquote steady paycheck perhaps, but on the right, that's where you're really going to look at making a big difference and being able to your own hours, create what you want out of a business. And Avocare fit in so well to that because we provide 2 very important things. Now, some of you guys have seen this slide over and over. Some of you are brand new. This is very important. We provide 2 solutions for 2 of the biggest needs in the United States. We provide health, whether it's energy, helping people out with their weight management. We have an amazing sports performance line, so athletes absolutely love these products. I'm actually, right now, I just drank a Spark and an Arginine because I'm going to go work out here shortly. I love these products. They help tremendously. And the second thing is finances. We present, obviously, you guys are here to learn how to make money, but we present an excellent way to make additional resources coming into your paycheck. So it's important to realize those 2 things that Avocare provides are the 2 biggest things in our country that are needed. The obesity epidemic that's going on, we help with that. We help people who need to lose weight. We help them stay in shape. And we provide a way for them to make money. The debt crisis, number 2 problem in the United States. A little bit about who we are. We're founded back in '93 by a man named Charlie Regis, and I'm going to tell you more about him in a minute. We're based out of Texas, and we have a ton of different products, so 70-plus nutritional products. They apply to anyone from the 65-year-old who is having some issues, pain in their joints, maybe some wear and tear. Maybe you've been in a car accident and you've had some bad wear and tear on your discs and your spine. We offer things that help with those types of issues, pains in your joints, issues with digestion, all the way to the other side of the spectrum, which is helping people lose weight and gain muscle. So we have a ton of different products geared for the entire population. So we don't eliminate anyone. We're not going just for meatheads in the gym who are trying to lift 500 pounds. We don't go just for the runner who runs miles and miles and miles. Not everyone fits in those categories. So that was really appealing to me personally because I had an open demographic. I could apply Avocare to everyone. It wasn't a specific niche market where you cut out half the population, such as if I sold, makeup, which I wouldn't, but if I sold makeup, 90% of men, and it might be more these days, but 90% of men don't wear makeup. A lot of women don't wear makeup. So I automatically cut out a lot of people. But with AdvoCare, I leave all of those people in the demographic bucket so I can talk to everybody. And we have a ton of science behind our products, and we'll cover some more of that. First, I want to set the stage here, guys. This is Charlie Regis. Now, you probably haven't met Charlie, but I've listened to a ton of his the things that he spoke about. I have some CDs and stuff that I listen to when I'm driving around, and he was just a tremendous guy. One thing I want you to understand about him is he was a millionaire before he came to AdvoCare and created it. He did not need to do this, but he simply saw an opportunity to create a great business. And his objective were these three things. Number one, he wanted to create the world's finest nutritional products. I believe he's done that. I've used them. I've seen what's out there, and I know these products are great. Second thing he wanted to do was using the direct selling model to distribute those products. I think you would probably agree that you would rather make the money than three other establishments that we won't name because we don't name drop here, but three other establishments that sell products that are kind of hit and miss whether they're good or not, and them making the money. Ultimately, that money's going somewhere to China or who knows. But with these products, because we have direct selling, I make the money, you make the money. We create a market where we cut out the middleman. A market where the products come straight from the warehouse to our home or straight from the warehouse to our customer's home. So we cut out a lot of chaff, and so people are able to create an income using these products. It's great. And number three is we provide an opportunity for people like me to do something extraordinary with their life. Now, the things that I value the most that I've seen, obviously the finances, but it's also leadership opportunity, guys. If you want to practice your leadership skills or business ethics that you learned in college, this is a great stomping ground to do that. Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote a lot about this, but the direct selling model is such a great platform for you to practice business ethics and be able to apply a lot of the things that you learn if you went to college or something like that. So moving on, what makes us really different? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because most of you have already seen this. But we are not about fads or gimmicks. There's a lot of different fads like cutting carbs totally out and different things you'll see, beach diets and all these crazy things. One thing for me, I didn't want to be a part of that when I saw this. So AdvoCare was attractive because it was based on science. There was excellent science going into the products, and it was also based on changing your lifestyle rather than changing just a crazy diet for a month where you bounce back and gain all the weight back. We really promote healthy living styles here. So these are our doctors. We have 8 of the world's best doctors. Stanley Dudrick created intravenous feeding, so if you have a baby that's born prematurely, you'll see a tube going in. He invented that. So I think we're in pretty good hands with the fact that he was one of the pioneers for that research, and he developed the nutrition that went through that tube and kept people who were in a coma alive. One of his first projects, he actually created the nutrition balance that he used for that intravenous feeding and practiced it for the first time. So he is an excellent testament to just the quality of science that goes into our products. And here's a big one for me, and if you guys are tired, I'm sure all of you know either somebody who's in the military, someone who is in professional sports, or someone who is at a job where they get tested for banned substances. So why is it important is because Informed Choice tests our products. They take them, take samples of them at a random selection and test to make sure that they are 100% safe and effective. So when I give this product to someone I care and love, I'm confident that it's good for them and there's nothing hidden in it. I encourage you guys, do some research on some of the products out there if you don't agree with what I'm saying, because you will find time and time again, especially over the last 6 months, there's been multiple products that have been pulled off the market for banned substances, and we don't have to worry about that because of Informed Choice. And because of Informed Choice, we attract quite a few endorsers. These are just 6 of the many, many endorsers that we have, including the big dog, Drew Brees. And Drew Brees is the man, if you know anything about Drew Brees, you know he's a man of integrity, and he represents these products. And we're proud to have him part of Advocare because of that. So let's get into some meat and potatoes here. We're going to start talking about some things that are going to really open our eyes to how to do this business. So first off, looking at Advocare, it's important to know that there's 4 different ways that people can become involved with Advocare. Now, likely, if you're watching this, the chances are that you're already a distributor or an advisor. But to cover the 4 of these is important so that I can go back and explain from a business side why these are important to know. So number 1, a retail customer. Retail customers simply love the products, and that's it. They want the products. They don't want to get into a business. They simply love the products. Retail customers are awesome because they help us create product result stories in the marketplace, and we provide more value to them than they do to us. We give a product to someone, they lose weight. They feel good. They gain muscle. They give us cash. The product, losing the fat, gaining muscle is way more valuable. So we provide a great service for the market with retail customers. Number 2, a wholesale customer. $79, you get $60 worth of product. You sign up as a wholesale customer. It's excellent. People save money on their product between 20 and 30%, and they're typically customers for life. I've got a lot of people, when we started this over 2 years ago, that still take products. We're not in each other's lives anymore, but because I signed them up as a wholesale customer, they order from my website. So they continuously order product, and they're happy, I'm happy. Number 3 is a distributor. And as a distributor, you're looking at somebody who is kind of, maybe they're a hobbyist. They would like the idea of making money when they can. So maybe they're shooting for $300 to $500 and making that as a distributor. And number 4 is a business advisor. And we're really going to hammer in on advisor because in order to get to silver, this is the road to silver training, it's important to get to advisor. And so let's talk real quick. What does it look like to become an advisor? Now, these are discount levels. So when we spoke about retail, you don't have a discount, right? But if you sign up as a distributor, you automatically have a 20% discount. So anywhere from $0 to $499 of retail volume that's ordered stays in that 20% discount range. Likewise, anything from $500 to $1,499 takes you to a 25% discount. $1,500 to $2,999 will take someone to the 30% discount. And after you surpass $3,000, you're at the 40% discount and you become an advisor. Now, it's important to know that advisor is where you need to be in order to qualify for a leadership status. So looking at the actual investment, you see the discounts here. We're talking about real product. We're not talking about, just dumping money into something just so you can be a member. This is actual product that's shipped to your doorstep. So you have an exchange for value. We don't just say, hey, you got to give me $3,000 to be a part of Advocare. You get product to start your business with. When you look at the actual investment, so $500 of retail volume, you make a product profit of $125 when you sell that product again. Now, so basically the idea here is in order to get to that 40%, where you want to be, it's a $2,100 investment. Now, there's 2 ways to get there. We'll talk about those a bit. But getting to this point is so important because those open up the ways to get paid. So real quick, I'm going to pause. I'm going to give you guys some things that you need to know, some terms you're going to see that are going to make the rest of this presentation make more sense. Okay, so first off, retail volume. Now, retail volume is quite simply retail volume. If a product costs $100, then the retail volume is $100. Now, BV represents business volume. Business volume is 1/2. You can see here, I really write these things down because you're going to use these later on in the presentation. Business volume equals 1/2 of retail volume. So as a business builder, it's important to know that because that's where we're going to get some calculations here in a minute. So if I have $1,000 of retail volume, my business volume is then $500. All right, so Let's move on. PV, personal volume. This is any of my personal sales or purchases. So on my website, you'll see a little PV, and it will say, whatever the number is, and that means I've either retailed at a 100% price, retail value, or I have purchased something for my own product use. Group volume, which is GV, you'll see that quite a bit. And then when we combine these two, we got a missing AL here, but when we combine these two, we have personal group volume. So it's the culmination of my personal purchases and sales, as well as any distributor or wholesale customer who is not an advisor, any of their sales or their personal purchases. All of these combine together to give me PGV. So personal volume, my stuff. Group volume is people who I've brought into this business as a distributor or a wholesale customer. PGV is the culmination of both of those. So, reason that's important is because we're going to learn how we get paid. And this is where you're going to get your money coming in from Advocare. It's important to know these things. Number one, we're going to cover all these. We're going to spend most of our time on 3 and 4. But to give you guys just a simple idea of how to make money with Advocare and how simple it is, the first way we get paid is through retail profit. Retail profit, quite simply, is I personally have a 40% discount because I'm an advisor. Therefore, if I sell a 24-day challenge bundle, which this is what you'll see on your website as the retail bundle, not including Catalyst or canister of Spark, it is retailed for about $188. And why is that important? Because you, as an advisor, make $75 off of that purchase. So what do we do when we have people, they finished a challenge and they're looking to find, what should I stay on is the question you'll get asked. So here's what they stay on. When you move into the continuing usage phase, basically, what should people stay on? Here's the bare minimum, guys. It's Spark and M&S. A retail value per month of $134 in order for someone at a retail cost to stay on Spark and M&S. Now, your retail profit is $53.60. Now, what we really shoot for is having 30 customers, 30 people that we care about. We're just taking care of them. Maybe it's somebody you meet at the grocery store. It could be your friend. It could be your family, coworker. Doesn't matter. Someone that is staying on product and they order at a regular retail value long term. Now, if you have 10 customers that are just staying on Spark and M&S, that's a $536 profit for you per month. That's just at the retail level. When you see some of the numbers in a minute, that is not including retail. That's including everything else. So secondly, if you look at more of a, let's get 10 people on 24-day challenges, because I'm sure you know 10 people that would love a 24-day challenge. Most everybody I know has tried a 24-day challenge and absolutely loved it. They've had great results. So having 10 people do a challenge at the rate that you're going to see on your website for the bundle, you have a $752 profit. And that's the first way we get paid. Let's go to the second way we get paid. The wholesale commissions. Now, earlier, we explained what a wholesale customer was, 20% discount. So here's how you get paid through that. Here's me or you. Let's say, and obviously I'm not a woman, maybe you are, but you're looking at this. As an advisor, 40% discount, you sign up a friend or somebody you know or meet, they sign up at a 20% discount, and then your profit, if they purchased $100 of retail, becomes 20% of that. So let's add this: advisor, you at 40%, your friend, distributor at 20%. They order $100 of product, and now they've saved 20%, and you've made 20%. So long-term customers, most of them will want to be at a distributor level. So you have a lot of people that are using product on a regular basis, and they come back and order it from your website. It's great. So let's focus in now on 3 and 4. Here's where it's going to get a touch more complicated. I encourage you to go back through and really study this to get your bearing on what we're doing here in order so you know what you need to do to get to silver. Because once you get to silver, you can get to any other level. So here we go. Overrides and leadership bonuses. Let's talk about those two. So overrides and leadership bonuses. What is an override and leadership bonus? Well, when we sponsor into this business an advisor, that person now has a 40% discount. So as you can tell, you have a 40% and they have a 40%, so that cuts out retail profits and wholesale commissions, as it should. That's why we are a legitimate business. So we cut that retail and wholesale commission profit. And now we're looking at overrides and leadership bonuses. Now, anything that goes through this advisor, any of their personal purchases, their sales, wholesale customers, that contributes to overrides and leadership bonuses. Now, in order to get to silver, let's explain. Looking at a silver paycheck here, the first level in the leadership structure is silver. And as a silver, you have to have $100 of override. Now, $100 of override, if you recall back, is calculated off of business volume. So what does it look like to get to silver? Let's cut out all this stuff. These are great. You guys are going to get there. But if you can focus on the silver, just this first leadership bonus, you're talking about an additional 3% of leadership bonus plus over $100 of override. So what does it take to get there? You have your advisor. Your advisor has a 40% discount. Anything that gets over $3,000 coming through that advisor creates an override. So in order to calculate override, I want you to do something. I'm going to show this here, and we'll calculate override. Now, first and foremost, retail volume of 3,000, because business volume is 1/2 of retail volume. Your business volume then equals $1,500. In order to fund overrides and leadership bonuses, we use the business volume. So when you're calculating for override is going to be 0.07 times 1,500. 7% of your business volume is override. So therefore, we take our retail volume of 3,000, we cut it in half to get our business volume. We take our business volume, multiply it to 7%, and we come up with $105 of override. Now, never mind this 40,000, we'll get there. We're focused on this in the middle. This is silver. So on a very simple level, one max E is $40, business volume is approximately 22, and your override would be about $1.54. Doesn't seem like much, but here's how this all starts compounding. As we build up to this level, we're looking at the ability to create residual income. So on top of all your retail sales, on top of the wholesale commissions that you're bringing in, you have a silver bonus and a silver override coming in. Now, silver, in order to get to silver, you have to have that $3,000 of volume under one of your advisors, and you have to personally have at least $1,000 of retail sales and commissions. Now, it might sound like a lot, but remember what we talked about. Having 30 customers that are utilizing products, you're going to get to 1,000 no problem. So having that 1,000, having 3,000 through an advisor, and that $105 of override, then in order to get leadership bonuses, we take that business volume, multiply it times 3%. That's where you get that extra bonus. So when you add those together, you're looking at that 105 plus that 3%, add those together, plus your retail sales, plus your wholesales, and that's what your paycheck is going to look like. So the last way to get paid, we talked about the first. The last way to get paid is through incentives. Now, incentives they take on a variety. First and foremost, guys, this is where it's at. Anyone who is new to this business, from the moment you qualify as an advisor, you have 1 year to be eligible to hit a rookie bonus. A rookie bonus are paid out every single pay period to the top 7 pay earners. First place gets $6,000, all the way down to 7th place, who gets $1,000. And this is for only first-year people. So rookies who are going for this and competing for this have the ability to win this extra money. Now, I cannot wait till the first person on this team hits one, because when you think about that, just a lump sum of an extra $1,000 to $6,000 on top of your retail, on top of your wholesale, on top of your override, on top of your bonus. So that creates a substantial amount of money. So lastly, we're going to go through what is painting a vision, and how do we get from where we are, which is just you. Let's say you're a new advisor or distributor. You already know you got to get to advisor in order to do this. So I'm trusting that your sponsor is taking care of helping you get there, and if they're not, by all means contact me, and I will do everything in my power. I will match your effort to create a successful business for you. But I want to teach the power of 3, and this will all make sense as we add on. So we start off, and it's just you. When Sarah and I began this business, it was just us. And so what we were looking for was that first advisor. We needed that first person who is qualified as an advisor in order to begin our journey towards silver. Now, there's 2 ways to accomplish silver. And the reason that we put it this way is so you understand this is where the volume has to come from in order to get $105 of override. Now, the power of 3, let's assume for a second you have 1. Anybody can work with 1 person. Anybody can work with 3 people. So you either have to have $3,000 of volume coming through 1 advisor, or you can have multiple $1,000 coming through 3 different advisors. Now, the power of 3, whenever you're working with someone, there tends to be a max of 3 people that you can really devote your attention to. And when we work with these 3, we teach the fundamentals of helping them develop 3. So at any given time, I can work effectively with 3 leaders. And in turn, my job is to help them develop 3 beneath them. So let's say this person's name is Joe, and this is me, or maybe this is you. Put your name there, somebody you're already working with or you have in mind and you'd like to work with. Getting that first advisor and really working with them is so much fun, but then this is what it turns into. So we have 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and then we help that person achieve 3 people. Because this person, just like you, is able to really focus on 3 people. And as they develop those 3 people, all of which are somewhere between $1,000 to $1,000 of volume coming through, this pops up to you as well. So your override went from having 3 advisors with at least 1,000 to having 6 advisors with at least 1,000. Doubled your override. Now imagine this on a larger scale, and here's where we'll stop. The reason we teach 3 is because if we can help this person get 3, this person get 3, and this person get 3, simply on overrides alone, you're looking at $420, and that's just assuming they have at least 1,000. Now, we've seen from time that people are anywhere between, it could be $200, it could be $5. Last pay period, there were several people who, one person hit 5,000, one person hit 2,000. I mean, when you see these numbers, we're doing this on simple math of 1,000 each. But in reality, you might have 3,000 over here, 1,000 here, 500 here, 1,000 here, 500, maybe $20, and then 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. So this money adds up, but still contributing to your override. This is how you develop a silver business, is simply getting either that 1 person who's an advisor with $3,000 of volume, or 3 or more, as long as this level equals $3,000 of volume. So I hope that kind of gives you at least a solid idea of what silver is. And lastly, I'm going to tell you, take this and multiply it. Just keep going over to side to side. As we build this business and we go from 1, which would just be ourselves, to getting 1 advisor, to getting 3 advisors, to helping them get 3 advisors, and this continues to grow, it's slow and steady wins the race. Your job is to continue doing this. Eventually, this person will get to the point where they can do this without you. They don't need your help anymore. And then you move to your next 3, and your next 3, and your next 3, and it continues until the point when you hit this level. And this is Todd and Donna Cash. And if you guys aren't familiar with them, they're just tremendous leaders out in Texas, but they are in our organization. They're at the top of our organization. They've been doing this since a long time ago. They've been in for around 20 years, and they average now over $1 million a year just doing AvCare. Todd's a coach. Donna is amazing mother. She takes care of everything. You'll hear her a lot if you guys are part of Team Cash. But this is where you can get to if you continue to do the simple process of working to find that one advisor, find 2 more, help them find 3, and continue building this process. It's very simple. It's very easy. Takes time. It takes work, but it's simple. So lastly, based on what you've seen, I really encourage you guys, if any of this was unclear, call me. Talk to your sponsor and ask them to explain in depth. But this is a great foundation. I encourage you to go through and review parts that you didn't quite get. Make sure you get a few solid key things here. In closing, what does it take numbers-wise to get to silver? It takes being a qualified advisor, having at least $1,000 of personal volume or wholesale volume, and thirdly, it takes having one advisor who has $3,000 of retail volume or personal group volume that is coming in through them. That gives you the $100 of override that you need, and you are silver. Do that twice in a row, you're a qualified silver. Do it 3 times in a row, and you get on leads where you get free money coming in, people contacting you. When they look up Advocare in your local area, they see your name, your story, your picture. When they go to click to buy, they buy it from you. You don't have to chase them down. So I encourage you guys, get to silver. Silver is the status quo. You get there, everything else makes sense, because all you have to do at that point is do silver again and again and again and again. Do it 6 times, you're a Ruby 6. Do it 9 times, you're an Emerald 9-star, making over $200,000. Do it 12 times, and you're a diamond, making well more than $200,000. Average diamonds right now are somewhere in the upper 30s per month. So take that stuff, review it, check it out. If you have questions, by all means, call me, email me, Facebook me, send me a letter, whatever you need to do. Get the information accurate and concise so that you can build a business. Have a wonderful night. See you next Monday.